Surprisingly, the Republican candidates for president are denouncing President Obama's request to Congress to close Guantanamo Bay's detention facility.
More significantly, House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate President Mitch McConnell have both said already the president's proposal is dead on arrival on Capitol Hill. Kent, who has traveled to GITMO, is joining us now with more on Mr. Obama's plan and the reaction to it. Kent?
Yeah, Tom and Mary, we spent several days in Cuba looking at the conditions for detainees and for the soldiers stationed at Guantanamo Bay. Now, to clarify, we toured and investigated the Joint Task Force Detention Center, not Naval Station Guantanamo Bay. The president's plan calls for closing up the prison, not the base. But the future of the base concerns many of the lawmakers representing you in Washington, D.C.
For many years, it's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security.
President Obama's long-awaited plan to close the Guantanamo Bay detention facility finally delivered to Congress Tuesday morning. News4Jax has spent 4 days and 3 nights at GITMO. We did that in 2015, shooting this video inside the Joint Task Force compound. We saw detainees at various levels cared for in humane conditions. We also toured Camp X-Ray, where the worst reported treatment of terror suspects took place in the months following 9/11.
Keeping this facility open is contrary to our values. It undermines our standing in the world. It is viewed as a stain on our broader record of upholding the highest standards of rule of law.
The blueprint to close GITMO involves transferring most of the detainees to other countries. The rest, deemed too dangerous to be moved abroad, would be relocated to a detention facility inside the United States. The plan identifies 13 possible U.S. transfer sites, including a military prison in Leavenworth and the federal Supermax prison in Florence, Colorado. Florida Congressman Ted Yoho tells us 30% of the GITMO detainees released so far have returned to the battlefield, and that's one reason he plans to fight against that part of the plan.
You know, I think there's a lot of us up here are okay with releasing or removing some of the detainees. How we go about that is another thing. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, prohibits President Obama from removing those people and bringing them to the homeland.
Reactions from some of the presidential candidates have not been so positive.
We're not going to close Guantanamo.
Don't shut down GITMO, expand it, and let's have some new terrorists there.
Cost is an argument for closing the detention camps. U.S. officials said the plan would save the government between $65 million and $85 million per year compared to housing detainees at Guantanamo. Well, that's not enough for the former adjutant general in Florida. Emmett Titshaw told us, I think this push to close Guantanamo has led us to release some people we shouldn't have. It can be done more economically here if we're just talking about dollars, but I think there are a lot of Americans who feel safer if those people are kept at GITMO. So we've asked for reaction from many of our elected federal leaders. You heard from Florida Senator Marco Rubio in that piece. Senator Bill Nelson telling us, I support closing the prison at Guantanamo Bay, but I also want to be certain that if we do, we're not going to be putting any Americans at risk, and I will be taking a hard look at the president's plan to ensure that is the case. Congresswoman Corrine Brown sent this statement. I believe that Congress needs to immediately and thoroughly review the president's plan and quickly move forward to advance our national security priorities and ensure that the world knows that we will continue to uphold the rule of law and the democratic legal system in the United States, even in the face of the war on terror. We heard from Congressman Ron DeSantis say bringing hardened terrorists to the U.S. homeland harms our national security. Congress should remain steadfast in blocking the president from bringing terrorists to our shores. And then Senator David Perdue from Georgia, he said the plan from the Pentagon places our citizens at unacceptable and completely avoidable levels of risk. Now, I'm told by Democrats and Republicans alike that strategically, they don't want to lose the ground held by the Navy at Guantanamo, at that base, even if the detention facility closes. Tom?